Whoa, g'day mateys, WWE and Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame here, Bushwhacker Luke, and I'm listening to Last Match Standing podcast. You have to listen to it too, mateys. Oh yeah, wow!
とことん技にこだわります。鬼だ鬼だ君は鬼だ。カウント3カウント3新チャンピオン誕生。鬼がチャンピオンになりました。1年9ヶ月ぶりの王座奪還返り咲き第26代世界タッグチャンピオン敗れし三沢組わずか2週間でのご感動でした。
Welcome to Last Match Standing, the podcast where we review, relive, and rank the greatest wrestling matches of all time. As always, I'm Spenser.
I love Kenta Kobashi.
And I'm in the Hell Demon Army.
And today, we are coming to you from June 9th, 1995. It's the All Japan Pro Wrestling Super Power Series 1995, Day 15 from Nippon Budokan, Tokyo, Japan. It is the AJPW World Tag Team Championship match, as Mitsuharu Misawa and Kenta Kobashi, the Super Generation Army, defend their tag team titles against Toshiaki Kawada and Akira Taue, the Holy Demon Army.
Finally.
This is the template for tag team matches.
Man, Paul, the four pillars.
I know.
How many times?
Well,
Have you asked for this? So
Not
many
Paul,
people.
yeah.
So
So
many
many
people
people asked for
I
this.
asked for it once, and you said, "Oh, this one." Oh, okay. So, first off, finally. Second off, it's King Throne, motherfuckers. We've got all four fucking pillars, all of them in one place, and they're gonna fight each other.
I am thrilled for this match. Episode 79, our penultimate episode of Season 4. Guys, if you are following along, just last episode, we did Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair from WrestleMania 37. And when you talk about history in professional wrestling, going from that episode to this feels great. You know, more historic moments. These are four guys that laid the foundation of professional wrestling as we know it, and we'll talk about that as we go along here. But if you want to tell us where we went wrong with Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair with the ranking, where we didn't, where you think we would rank this match, and where you would rank it, definitely let us know. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Last Match Cast. Subscribe. Follow all that fun stuff on both YouTube.
Click the bell for notifications.
Yeah, YouTube. All our episodes are on YouTube, as well as wherever you find your favorite podcasts. So definitely review and rate us there. We appreciate that. Subscribe along. And then also, you can find us on Instagram, and you can email us at lastmatchstanding@gmail.com. What do you want our Season 4 finale to be? We would love to hear from you guys. We obviously have the idea, but would love to hear what you guys want to hear for our season finale.
I think they want more pillars.
That's what this podcast is going to turn into. Last pillar standing, and it's going to be all pillars all the time.
I like this idea.
Which, listen, I would listen to that podcast.
I would, yeah. And you know, obviously that means every match between now and the end of the show is going to be Brian Pillman matches.
Oh, I like that. Paul said, "No, that's fine. That's fine."
I like Brian Pillman.
But so many ways.
Hashtag loose cannon.
Yeah, so many ways to join us along our journey here as we venture towards the very, very end of Season 4 and get set for Season 5 here in just a little bit.
Guys, we should review Brian Pillman and Jushin Thunder Liger.
Ooh, that's a good one. Talk about a clash of worlds right there.
Yeah, I love that.
Clash of everything.
But the AJPW Superpower Series Day 15 tag titles on the line.
Here's a quick note about the AJPW World Tag Team Championship. Before we get into it, they were created on June 10th, 1988 as the unification of the two previous tag team championships in All Japan, the PWF Tag Team Championship, Pacific Wrestling Fed, and the NWA International Tag Team Championship. When the PWF champions Jumbo Tsuruta and Yoshiaki Yatsu defeated the NWA champions, the Road Warriors.
Wow!
That's why when you see these AJPW World Tag Team Championships, there are actually 4 belts, 2 for each wrestler, because they have the harkening back to the history, they still have both PWF and NWA International Tag Team Championships, and they're just known as the World Tag Team Champions. I really love that note and that sort of paying homage to what came before. We know Misawa was cemented as AJPW's ace when he won the Triple Crown Heavyweight Championship from Stan Hansen in August 92, a title he defended against Toshiaki Kawada on June 3rd, 1994, in one of the greatest matches ever.
Spencer, why does that match sound familiar?
Well, it currently sits at number 12 on our list of the greatest wrestling matches of all time.
Number
That's what I thought.
12. If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Go watch it, and you'll be like, oh my God, thank you guys for telling us about this great match. And I'm like, well, if you like that match, buckle up, because we got another one to tell you about.
I mean, just incredible. But this incredible rivalry did not end there. No. In fact, they went on to produce several more matches considered some of the best in the history of the sport. 1 year removed from their clash at Superpower Series, Toshiaki Kawada has still never defeated Misawa by pinfall. Kawada was considered the number 2 in AJPW, and Kawada refused to let it go. This time, he recruited some help to earn his long-awaited victory, and his name was Akira Taue.
And he does a choke slam. That's really cool.
Man,
Sure
does
does.
he.
I mean, he does a lot more than
does.
that, but like choke slam, baby. Come on.
Big Show, eat your heart out, okay?
Yeah, now that's a choke slam. Watch this guy. He's cool.
A man with 14 5-star matches as awarded by the Wrestling
Holy.
Observer newsletter.
Well,
We
and
watched one
as
today.
we know, the Wrestling Observer newsletter is the word of actual God, as we know.
Akira
Akira
Taue.
backward. Evad. Evad is a synonym for God. So yeah.
Akira Taue, a former professional sumo wrestler in the Juryo division, which is the second highest ranked division in sumo.
Fantastic.
Taue debuted in AJPW in 1988, quickly making a name for himself in the tag team division. After many of All Japan's roster would leave for Genichiro Tenryu's new promotion, the SWS, Taue would band with Mitsuharu Misawa, Kenta Kobashi, and Toshiaki Kawada to form the Super Generation Army. This partnership was short-lived, however, as Taue would defect to Jumbo Tsuruta's stable, otherwise known as Tsuruta-gun. The ensuing rivalry between the Super Generation Army and Tsuruta-gun would produce all-time tag team classic matches, including 5-star classics between Taue and Tsuruta versus Misawa and Kawada on September 30th, 1990, and even went on to win the World Tag Team Championship alongside Jumbo Tsuruta in 1992. Big things moving for Akira. In early 1993, however, it became apparent that Tsuruta's days as a competitor were pretty much over, forcing Taue into a singles campaign where he met with longtime rival Toshiaki Kawada in a draw at 1993 Champion Carnival. The two shook hands after the match and walked away with enough respect for each other to form a new tag team known as the Hell Demon Army. They would soon win the World Tag Team Championships from Terry Gordy and Steve Williams to go on to successfully defend those titles against Misawa and Kenta Kobashi on June 1st, 1993, in a match that AJPW promoter Baba, at the time, regarded it as the greatest match he'd ever seen. It was the first of 9 legendary matches between these teams, one of which we'll cover at length in a few moments. Kenta Kobashi,
A.K.A. the GOAT.
after getting into judo, rugby, and bodybuilding in his early years, Kenta Kobashi
It shows.
applied to the AJPW dojo in 1987, where he was trained by Dory Funk Jr. and Giant Baba.
We'll talk more about Giant Baba in a few minutes.
Baba booked Kobashi to lose his first 63 matches in an effort to sell Kenta Kobashi as a resilient new star who, even in defeat, would prove to bring out the best in his opponents and would never, ever quit.
63?
And it worked, earning Kobashi the Rookie of the Year award in 1988 despite the losses.
But the fact that he lost every match he had that year.
But it showed him as a fighting young rookie.
That's fair.
It's genius.
Yeah.
But I feel like
really
if any
smart.
other company, they'd be like, look at this joke, he can't win. It's more like a, damn it, man, he's come back that close
He
every
comes that
time.
close every time. Yeah, I think it's really smart. His rise to the top in AJPW began as a member of Mitsuharu Misawa's faction during Misawa's feud with Jumbo Tsuruta. Kobashi won the All-Asian Tag Team Championship alongside the second iteration of Tiger Mask. But after Tiger Mask was unmasked and revealed to be Misawa himself, they vacated the championships. Over the next 2 years, Kobashi held the All-Asia belts more than three more times, twice with none other than Johnny Ace.
You mean
People power.
You mean the guy that was captain of the winning team in the most important match in WrestleMania history at WrestleMania 28 when
right.
Team Johnny went up against Team Teddy in a 5-on-5 tag team match?
Twice.
That's right. The executive vice president of WWE Talent Relations and the general manager of both Raw and SmackDown.
Twice.
You mean the guy that wore a white suit and a red tie at WrestleMania 28?
That suit would have given Brother Love a heart attack.
Twice.
You mean the guy that Big Show helped beat John Cena in the main event of a pay-per-view?
Yes, that guy who also married the mother of the Bella twins and is therefore the father-in-law of Brian Danielson.
Twice.
You mean... I'm just gonna...
And once sat in a hot tub with his future daughters-in-law.
Former tag team partner of Kenta Kobashi, ladies and gentlemen.
And I was also one half of the Dynamic Dudes with Shane Douglas in WCW with my brother, Road Warrior Animal.
Okay.
We can't keep it together over here.
We haven't even gotten to the match
Oh
yet.
no, we got a request. Hang on.
Here we go.
Hang on, Spencer literally fell out of his chair just now.
Give me Johnny Ace.
He just did.
He needs more of the ace.
I need more Ace. As Zeb Coulter
Oh my God.
WrestleMania 29.
I'm seeing a lot of faces here that don't look like mine. They got voices and they don't speak English. They speak things like Italian and Greek and something called Yiddish. But in Jack Swagger's American.
I can't. It hurts my voice too much.
We're going to get back on track now.
Oh, we're going to demonetize so fast, guys.
Where was I?
Kenta Kobashi was Rookie of the Year despite losing
In
63 matches.
1993. At the height of Misawa and Kawada's rivalry, Kenta Kobashi became Misawa's main tag team partner. In December of this year, he would earn his first singles victory over Toshiaki Kawada, and 13 months later would challenge for Kawada's Triple Crown Championship, which led to a 60-minute time limit draw, and is regarded as the greatest 60-minute bout in wrestling history by the Wrestling Observer newsletter.
Again, word of God. And you know how much I love a 60
Well, it was deemed the best in 1994.
Correct. Up to
There have been
1998.
a lot of 60-minute draws since then.
Yeah, no, I got you.
Meanwhile, Kenta Kobashi and Mitsuharu Misawa were enjoying their fourth reign with the AJPW World Tag Team Championships in as many years. And the Hell Demon Army was standing poised, ready to recapture the gold themselves. Akira Taue, still angry that he had lost to Mitsuharu Misawa in AJPW's Champion Carnival the month before, and Toshiaki Kawada, hungry for that first win over longtime rival Mitsuharu Misawa. Kawada had reason to go into the match with confidence, however. Although his partner, Kobashi, was dealing with a knee injury at the time, Kawada got in a sneak attack during his last encounter with Misawa, fracturing his orbital bone and planting some seeds of doubt leading into the World Tag Team Championship match we're about to cover.
So when you say they're poised, does that mean they have a high endurance stat in Dark Souls 1?
That's exactly right.
Awesome.
Can't be Dark Souls 3 because poise is totally broken in
It
that
means
game.
nothing in Dark Souls 3. Everything is about agility in that one.
That's right.
Speed.
This is a match from 1995 that goes 42 minutes. It is the 11th different tag team match to make our list of the greatest wrestling matches of all time.
And I'm pretty confident it's the longest tag team match to go on our list.
Yeah, I mean, I am also including Survivor Series tags and War Games, not necessarily standard tag team matches, but 11 tag team matches on our list already, and we're going to talk about it by the end of this thing, but maybe the best one yet.
Are these guys over, you think?
No, not at all.
Man, this crowd
hates
is
them.
uninterested.
They're just
I tell
dead.
you what.
Yeah, I don't even think there is a crowd. I think it's just the Thunderdome with no sound effects.
It's incredible.
They are on fire.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And Taue and Kobashi start to a huge Kobashi chant.
Yes, they do.
Which is really interesting because Mitsuharu Misawa is the ace. He's the number one. People were pining to see Kobashi get that big win.
Mm-hmm.
And, I got to say something about Kenta Kobashi. That's the ideal male body. That's what peak performance looks like. And I felt it with those chops.
Yeah, man, Kobashi, I mean, those chops are legendary.
Woo!
They are legendary. And this match, by the way,
I
guys,
felt 'em.
is fully on YouTube. So it is super, super
And
accessible.
high quality as well.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, again, the date is June 9th, 1995. It is so easy to find on YouTube if you want to watch along with us. These are all guys in the prime of their athletic career, right? The oldest is Taue, who's 34, and the youngest is Kobashi, who's 28 at the time.
Oh, my. They're all babies.
So they are prime, and they put on a hell of a show.
All steak, no sizzle, baby.
And I don't know for sure, but it sounds like that could be Giant Baba on commentary.
I'm pretty confident it is. As deep as that voice is, it's got to be Baba.
It's difficult for us to find that information. So if anyone has that information about who these commentators are, of course, it's in Japanese. It's hard for us to know exactly who it was, but oh my gosh, they were incredible.
They do a great job. How can you not be hyped watching this match while listening to that commentary team?
It's impossible to not be hyped for this match. I mean, come the fuck on.
I completely agree.
And we get this thing underway with Kobashi and Kawada.
And those fucking kicks. Oh, my God.
I mean, in comes Kawada as Kobashi Irish whips him and takes the opportunity to knock off Misawa. I love that here, right in the beginning, right off the bat, he's sort of planting that seed, getting in the head of Misawa.
He just kicks him off the apron. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
And so what does Kenta do? Tags in Misawa to Kawada chants.
Isn't that so interesting?
I loved it.
This crowd is going berserk. I'm going berserk. I know it's been a year since this match that we covered, right, on our main feed, number 12 of all time so far for us. So Misawa, Kawada facing off. Yes, please.
I like how Misawa is wearing the same pants, but Kawada's wearing inverted pants.
And again, Kawada's able to knock off the partner in the corner. This time it's Kobashi.
Yep.
But just already getting into that mode of strategies. Like, what do I need to do to win the match? Right off the bat, I'm going to isolate the opponent.
Yep. And some things that I really enjoy. Kenta gets a delayed brainbuster.
Ooh. Brainbuster's always nice.
And just holds it, and drops down for the brainbuster. And it's confirmed because we hear the commentary say, brainbuster. And I'm like, yes.
And the good news is that after we get that stalling brainbuster by Kobashi, which was beautiful, by the way, we get, I've said so many times how much I love a WrestleMania bear hug. But what may be better than a WrestleMania bear hug is a Super Power Series abdominal stretch.
I'll take it.
Oh,
I'll take it.
especially when he does the mega ultra version of the hip toss out of it.
So good. Well, I got to tell you guys, it's going to sound like we are, confused about maybe who is legal in this match as we go along.
There's not a lot of continuity about who's the legal man in this match.
There are 24 tags in this 42-minute match.
You counted.
I counted. 11 by the team of Misawa and Kobashi, and 13 tags by the team of Kawada and Taue. And it's interesting because they both go through moments where one team's tagging in a lot, while the other team is having their opponent isolated. But they trade back and forth with that. And so I think it's really, really interesting that they tag so often. But there's also some elements where this match breaks down, and you've got all four going at it at once.
So a moment like that I really enjoy is Kawada gets thrown to the outside, and Misawa telegraphs that he's going to go for a choke.
Yes.
So Akira moves Kawada out of the way. So Misawa does a front flip over the top rope, grabs with his back arm,
Catches himself.
and then skins the cat back over the rope. Meanwhile, this is going on. Kobashi takes out Akira Taue and then essentially throws Kawada back in front of the apron so Misawa can hit the fucking tope.
It's
holy shit,
gorgeous. The misdirection is great. It's tag team wrestling at its finest. And just absolutely incredible teamwork. I mean, Misawa is always such a smart wrestler, a joy to watch how he wears down his opponents. He keeps them moving, he keeps them down, and the frequent tags between the two of them are really, really wonderful.
Yes.
Kobashi goes to cover Taue, and the referee waits for Misawa to get back to his corner before counting the 3, which I just really respect as just it's really nice seeing the rules enforced in a tag team match, and I'll just leave it at that.
One thing that does not take long, because we have to mention this, Kenta has his left hip heavily taped. It does not take long before Kawada to start attacking that leg.
Yep.
Well, and that leg becomes a target and a story throughout the entirety of this match.
There's a good chunk of the match where Kobashi's on the outside of the ring with the trainers are massaging his hip and taping it even more just so he can stand.
Well, the leg right here, wherever it starts becoming the target, he's trapped by Kawada in this weird standing leg lock. And it looks like Kobashi's shoulders are actually both down on the mat, so much so that the referee actually stops and goes down to check the shoulders. Kenta Kobashi is kind of rolling side to side, sort of being forced to keep his shoulders up, but also try and figure out a way to protect his leg. It's really, really smart by Kawada.
So once they start going after that leg, it becomes very clear as this target. So Akira locks in the Scorpion Lock on Kenta. And I honestly thought the match was going to end right there.
Right there, yeah.
He is screaming.
And this is the strategy, is to keep Misawa out and keep the injured Kobashi in the fire.
Yes.
It's really, really good. Kobashi does create an opening and sort of just stumbles to his corner. He's not able to walk or run. To tag in Misawa, and Misawa locks in a Boston Crab on Taue, but gets whacked by Kawada. We talk about the kicks.
Kicked him square in the face. I mean, square in the face.
He kicked him so hard that he fell out of the ring.
Yeah.
He sure did.
He just completely falls out of the ring.
And this thing really just starts to break down. The referee cannot keep these guys separated, and Kobashi's leg decimated by Taue and Kawada, essentially turning this into what it looks like is going to be a handicap match.
Oh, yeah. So there's one moment in this match that honestly scared me. It's Kawada has Misawa in the corner, and he just starts kneeing him in the side of the head, and then he starts stomping on his face. And you're just like, good Lord, referee, you're in the corner. You got to stop this shit. And the ref's trying to hey, get out of the ring. And while it's going on, Misawa just stands up. And he just fires up while Kawada is still kicking him in the side of the head. And he just fires up. And you know what? He's had enough of Kawada's bullshit. He's had enough. And this match goes on for another 30 minutes.
Well, and you have to understand, it's like the gravity of what's happening here. Misawa
He won't stay
has
down.
an uphill battle to climb at this point with what we've assumed that Kenta Kobashi is out. His leg is going to keep him from getting back into this match.
This is the point where he's on the outside. And the
So
trainer's
Misawa
trying to
at
help
this
him
point
out.
is having to dig deep and find some sort of resolve to where he can finish this match. It's for the World Tag Team Championships. Taue has Kobashi on the outside, and Kawada has Misawa down in the center of the ring. And the crowd is at a fever pitch, really sort of throughout the entire match.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, everybody really thought that was going to be it. But Misawa is able to kick out, and the match continues.
One moment that I really enjoyed, because I mentioned earlier that Akira does a choke slam. So he choke slams Misawa onto the injured leg of Kenta. And then Kawada does a top rope double stomp onto Kenta's leg. And I just remember going, these men hit each other.
It's evident. It's evident that there's something more at play.
Yeah.
Like there's still something a little more important going on here
Exactly.
to them than the World Tag Team
And
Championship.
there's a moment, that's the moment where I'm watching the match going like, I don't speak Japanese, and the commentary is in Japanese, but I don't need it to understand exactly what I'm watching. You can feel the hatred between these four guys in the way they're wrestling. What they're doing and how they're doing it and their timing just screams, I hate Kenta. I want to break his leg so he can't wrestle anymore. I also want to keep Misawa in the corner so I can stomp him in the side of the head so maybe he'll have to retire and I'll never have to deal with this son of a bitch ever again. I can feel that from all four of these guys.
So just a few minutes after this, Kawada has Misawa locked up in the middle of the ring, and in comes who we thought was totally out. In comes Kobashi. Taue tries to stop him but gets whacked. Kobashi comes in for the save, giving Misawa the chance to create some separation and make the tag. So now, a legal Kenta Kobashi, the worse for wear or otherwise, gets to come in and get some payback on Kawada. And the crowd is eating it up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the second Kobashi gets back into that ring, the crowd is at a fever pitch, right? They are thrilled. There's that double clothesline moment, right, where both Kobashi and Kawada go down, and you would have thought that was a 60-minute time limit draw right there, like time limit expired. But no. So much more to go. And it should be noted here that before Kobashi tags in, that we do get, Paul, from Kawada.
Kawada does a power bomb.
It's glorious.
My
so
streak
good.
will never die.
It's so good. But Kobashi is back in the ring and ready to get some revenge. He knocks Taue off the apron, and he's taking it to Kawada. And Misawa is actually able to come back in, and they get some double team moves, almost like a double underhook suplex, like double underhook suplex.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Right?
Double
Yeah,
underhook.
it almost looked like a double tiger bomb,
Yeah,
right? It's just the
exactly.
way that the body was moved and the arms were tucked.
And they were able to do that on Taue. And then Kawada, who had just been knocked off and had tagged in Taue, is able to get Kobashi and push him off the top rope. Kobashi was about to go for a splash or something onto Taue, but is knocked off the top rope by Kawada.
I think it's going for a frog splash.
Yeah, so every single time, it seems like one team is going to get the upper hand and really start to control or win. There's a cutoff.
It's
You're
so
absolutely
back
right.
and forth. There's one point where Misawa has Taue in sort of showing the Tiger Driver. He's going to set it up. Taue escapes, and Kawada tries to assist, but gets whacked. And Misawa nails the Tiger Driver, but it's not enough for the 3.
Huge kick out moment. Huge kick out moment. And Misawa and Kobashi then both have submission holds going on. Misawa's got one on Taue in the middle of the ring.
Scary.
Kobashi's got one on Kawada at the same time. You think maybe this is one of those DIY revival double tap out moments, many years before. But that's sort of the thing that it's looking like. But Kawada is able to break out of the submission that Kobashi had him in, and then he interrupts the Misawa submission by hitting this massive, and I mean massive, big back suplex.
It's
scary.
The,
his fucking
the
head.
angle his head went down onto the mat, I thought he was dead.
Oh, no kidding. No kidding.
I mean, we get a little bit of revenge because Kenta hits a German suplex shortly after this.
Yeah, well, it started as a full Nelson,
Yeah.
and then Taue pushes forward to try and escape, but instead of letting go, he slides his arms down and hits the German suplex. It's
And
just so
when
good.
he's going to try to follow up on this, Taue gives him a choke slam off the second rope.
Smart
Ooh.
tag team wrestling, Spencer. Like you said, anytime an opening presents itself, the partner is there to keep the legal man occupied.
I want it to be known here that I told you that there's 24 tags in this match, and that's absolutely true. But the very last tag that we get sets up the two final legal men in this matchup. And who would have thought? It's Misawa and Kawada.
Absolutely it is. At one point, Misawa slams Taue down, opening up an opportunity for Kenta to land one of the most beautiful moonsaults you could think of. I mean, you have to remember, put yourself in these 1995 eyes. You know what I mean? And even worse, he lands right on that injured knee.
Yeah, he does.
So you have to think, he did a lot of damage with the moonsault, but he did just as much damage to
He
himself.
hurt himself as much, if not more. And that's the point where I think crowd just completely loses it. Like they've been building up, but from this point on, they stay at 11, and they do not come back down. They stay insane.
Misawa lands the tiger suplex on Kawada.
Well, he gets a release German suplex. Then he gets that double underhook, goes the tiger suplex.
And the tiger bomb, still not enough.
Oh, the second back tiger bomb.
Well, Taue breaks up that pin
He
attempt,
does.
right? So it's not a kick out this time, but Taue is able to break up the pin, and then he choke slams Misawa.
He does. And then he does a top rope choke slam to Kobashi. I'm like, good Lord, stop choke slamming people. What is this, me?
Well, he doesn't, because he does decide to do one more choke slam from the apron to the floor on Misawa.
And you have to imagine Misawa's eliminated from the match at that point. Kobashi goes to check on him and gets caught. And it's just... Is this the point where it's essentially Kenta Kobashi is the human shield?
Basically.
Yes,
He just
covers Misawa
lays
so he can't.
over Misawa, protecting him as much as he can. Things are looking bleak for the World Tag Team Champions.
Then we get a powerbomb choke slam combo.
Yep.
Like, what is the Brothers of Destruction?
Kawada puts Misawa in powerbomb position, but Kobashi comes in, grabs Misawa's legs to keep him down,
Just
which I thought
holding him grounded. Yeah.
I thought was a really, really fun counter. In comes Taue to assist, and Kawada nails the powerbomb, but not enough.
That's 5, guys. That's 5.
Not enough.
New record.
Not enough this time.
Ooh, one thing I really, really enjoyed. It's nothing insane, but we get an STO back suplex combo from Kenta and Misawa. That was my go-to tag finisher in SmackDown vs. Raw 2007.
Love it. Kawada, after a war, nails Misawa with most likely the tightest powerbomb I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he finally does it. He finally, after several years, accomplishes what he just climbs that mountain. He accomplishes the task. He beats Misawa in the middle of the ring.
He found his white whale.
New champs.
New champs.
New champs.
And
Kawada,
good Lord, that
Taue.
match. Oh.
42 minutes, and it ends with Kawada pinning Misawa. Incredible.
And this
stuff.
does not feel like 42 minutes.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
No.
And the last 15, I would say, are as high drama as it gets. They're as high drama as it gets,
and so much of this, I mean, not to take anything away from the ace Misawa and everyone who's involved in the match, but the performance by Kenta Kobashi in this thing is next level.
Yeah. That's some of the best selling I've ever seen in wrestling in my entire life.
It's really good.
I've been watching wrestling for 20 years. That was next level shit. Overall, just the psychology of this match. It's like I said earlier, where just watching the first 10 minutes or so, you got the impression these men hate each other and want to end their careers, want to break bones and prevent them from ever competing again. I don't need a commentary team to tell me this. I can see it. They're showing, not telling, which I really, really liked. And I feel like part of that was not necessarily that they were trying to hit a different audience, but me personally, I see it as people are probably going to watch that don't speak Japanese, but they're going to be able to tell what we're doing. They're going to be able to feel this out, what we're doing, and I agree. And I think this might be one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my entire life.
There is no shortage of emotion throughout.
Oh, the near falls in this one were giving me legitimate anxiety. Like, I was getting so anxious of getting close to the end of this. Like, oh, dear God, I don't know who wins this match.
So, for those that that don't have experience watching AJPW or New Japan, or like that don't have a ton of experience watching Japanese wrestling, what would be like the comparison, would you say, for two tag teams to go against? Who would we be talking about here? If, this is obviously Misawa and Kobashi versus Kawada and Taue. If you were more familiar,
well, I think we'd be talking about the new Blackjacks versus the Godwins from WrestleMania 13.
But the thing is, while yes, these
joke.
guys are tag teams in their own right, they're also incredible singles competitors.
All four of them.
So it's almost like seeing a CM Punk and Samoa Joe versus a Bryan Danielson and someone of that caliber go against each other. They have a tremendous understanding of what it takes to be a pro wrestler.
It's CM Punk and Joe versus Danielson and McGuinness.
That's what it feels like.
This is.
That's what it feels like.
The four pillars of Ring of Honor. No. No, seriously, when you said it, I'm like, oh, that's like we watched those two try to kill each other, and now they're a tag team. But we've also seen matches with other two guys try to kill each other. Now they're a tag team, and they're all working together, but they all still hate each other, and they're going to hit each other as hard as anybody's ever been hit in a wrestling ring.
But let me be clear. This is if we were forced to sort of come up with a modern-day Americanized version of what these teams might be able to be compared to. But in reality, there's only one version of these folk. There's only one four pillars. These are the guys that did this work and laid the foundation, which is what Spenser said at the beginning of this episode. And what I would like to say, they created the template for the perfect tag team match.
It's pretty damn good, guys. I don't know how we're gonna rank this.
Again, go out of your way. Easy to access on YouTube. Go out of your way, find it, watch it. It's an easy watch, and it is just the most fun and highly, highly competitive with some of the best wrestlers to ever do it. Favorite moments?
Oh, dear Lord.
You're welcome, because you're not ready to rank this thing. So favorite moments.
Favorite moments. Kenta diving onto Misawa's body to absorb the stomps and this damage.
I really love that.
I'm going to say the whole last 15 minutes. I know that's not a singular moment, but
like all the biggest highlights happen that
just love
last
it.
15
Just
minutes.
love it a lot. It's great.
It's good. Watch it, please.
Yeah, I think the misdirection, the Misawa faking the suicide dive and then Kenta Kobashi getting it was just so genius.
Yeah.
And seeing several moments like that come about throughout the match was just fun.
Okay. What's your favorite color? I'm trying to think of anything else to
Red.
stall us.
Yeah, there were really great trunks here.
The
Kenta
red
Kobashi
trunks.
Yeah,
and the orange salmonish kind of trunks.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That
Akira
was Kobashi.
Taue has the red trunks. Kawada has the black with yellow. Before he had yellow with black, but Misawa's wearing the old school green and white. Excuse me. And I'm realizing as I watch this, the trunks I always gave my character in SmackDown vs. Raw or in 2K were that design, just not those colors. But
Misawa's?
I'm
nice.
I'm like watching.
Yeah, that's a really classic design. I also really like Kawada's trunks.
I do.
Like probably my
I
favorite
really
of the
do.
bunch.
They're really good.
Yeah.
They're really
simple
good. When
but dramatic.
when Taue and Kobashi are in the ring at the same time, if like both of their backs are to you, you really can't tell because that orange and red is
They're
fairly
similar.
close.
They're similar.
Yeah.
Kobashi's was sort of more salmon, and so that was sort of the easier, whereas Akira's were like very red.
Very, very red.
Okay, we have to rank it.
I gotta rank it. I can't,
Fashion time is done.
Yeah.
I really can't help but compare this to the Joshi tag we did recently. It's similar time frame, similar kind of wrestling, and that's about where my comparison ends because I can't think of anything else we've done that's quite like this.
For everyone's reference, Paul, you were referring to the AJW Wrestling Queendom 2 match where Kong and Nakano faced off in a tag team match against Kandori and Hokuto. That currently sits at number 24 on our greatest wrestling matches of all time.
Fantastic,
list.
I mean,
fantastic tag
even
team
the other
match.
pillar match we did as a singles, it was very different. I mean, it was a similar type of psychology, but like I have never seen anything like this before, and I don't know what else to compare it to other than, well, there's a similar tag match from the same year. That's the only thing I can even begin to think to compare this to, because I don't want to compare it to other tag matches we've done because it's night and day. Like, I'm going to compare this to Eddie and Love Machine versus Santo and Octagon. I don't know.
It's a tough comparison, and so I think what we do is instead of trying to actually put it side by side with a match, is talk about the legacy of a match like this and what it could possibly mean. And whenever we have things like the match that we ranked on the last episode, the legacy of that match will carry on for a long time. Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. You have the legacy of something like Shawn Michaels in The Undertaker from Bad Blood in Your House, and the kind of, that was one of the matches that defined a generation. This is one of the matches that defined a match type in tag team wrestling.
Yeah.
This was one of the tougher matches, I think, that we've had to rank.
Yes. And, I feel like if you're a regular listener to our show, you know that we always feel that way, that it's one of the tougher matches we've had to rank.
Guys, I think I would put this right above Nakamura and Ibushi.
Okay, why is that?
Because I feel like that was a similar kind of match, only it was a singles. Like, they just went out and they just absolutely tried to destroy each other.
I think you're right. I think there are a lot of similarities to that match.
This is much longer than that one.
And I think the top 20. So right now we're floating just underneath the top 20. The top 20 are these sort of larger-than-life, incredible matchups, like the Starrcade 1985 clash between Night MTA and Tully Blanchard. Things that people are going to tell their kids about for years to come. So underneath that are just incredible spectacles. And important moments in history, right? Like going below 20, 21 is building the next generation of what wrestling can be in the X division. Below that is possibly the most important match in pro wrestling history in African American history. Below that is exactly what you're talking about, Paul. What Kota Ibushi and Shinsuke Nakamura were able to do at Wrestle Kingdom 9 will go down in the history books as one of the greatest matches in the Tokyo Dome. So where does this go in conversation with those sort of legendary matchups? Does it belong in the same conversation, as great as it was?
I honestly, where my thought process lies here is, how important do you think tag team wrestling is? Honestly.
Very.
Well, that,
it varies by person.
It's subjective. These are the four pillars, like as legendary as it gets. These guys are all incredible individual wrestlers, and to have them all on a team, and I think the comparison that we were making earlier in terms of not necessarily saying like, oh, this is the best tag team match because of these two tag teams, but these are four just incredible wrestlers that teamed up.
They're the four fucking pillars.
Yeah, and so
I kind of want to be like, you know what? Fine, number 16, because 4 squared is 16, and 4 and 4 is the numbers don't lie.
Right.
But I'm like, no, I'd probably go a little bit lower. God.
I think
when you go into those low 20s, no matter where it goes, you have to split hairs, and that's what we just don't like to do, but we don't have a choice here because I feel like this ultimately comes down to what do you like about wrestling?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to get into a preference issue where if you prefer very hard-hitting, story-based matches, this is your shit right here. Do you like more spectacle-based stuff? It's going to come down to preference. And it's no matter where we go, it feels like it's going to go into an area where, okay, these are all very hard-hitting matches. Which one's got a little bit more sizzle on it? And I hate to be that matter of fact about it, but I honestly don't know what else to say.
But we're splitting hairs, Paul. I mean, and that's the point. We're splitting hairs. These are, we're comparing 79 of the greatest matches ever. These are matches that we all love, that we all think are some of the best that have ever happened. Like when it gets down to the nitty gritty here, we do have to split hairs. And yeah, it does make it sound like we don't like certain things or, we're underestimating or disrespecting things a certain way. And that's not at all how we intend it.
I really think I would put this sandwiched in between the Iron Woman match and Nakamura and Ibushi at Wrestle Kingdom 9. I think that's where I would go here.
Yeah, so that puts Paul at 23. Landon?
And I rarely just go, here's a number. I usually go, I'm in this range and I'm open to interpretation. But nothing else on this list says like, this match felt like that.
I just set Landon up to respond. He
Have
looked
fun.
at me and shook his head no, as if
That's
move
too
on.
low? Is that not
I
high
pass.
enough?
I
or-
pass.
Well,
Are you right there with me? Because it's that hard.
it is that hard. No, it absolutely is that hard. And we are at that point nearing the end of season 4 where this will not be popular. Like that's just the way it goes. Like there will be a large portion of people that agree and a large portion of people that don't that listen to this show. And it is depending upon, just like Paul said, preference. If you're looking for storytelling, it's here.
It's here. Oh, my God.
There's as much storytelling as you want in the
I feel like
history
I
of
can
these
write a
four
book
men.
about this match.
Something to me that could potentially hurt it, and it maybe is no fault of its own, but it's won in how many tag matches? What do you say, 9?
True. There are 9.
There are a ton of them. And so maybe this is the one that people think out of those is the best, but I feel like that's probably subjective too.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's almost the conversation, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, which one of those matches is better from WrestleMania? You have these, if I was to ask you right now, Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, what match of theirs is the best? I don't know. They've wrestled 100 times.
How about what's currently ranked at number 4, Ric Flair versus Ricky Steamboat?
Exactly.
They had a trio of matches that people think all 3 of them should be the 3 best of all time.
Exactly. So I don't want to say that this is their best match of the 9 necessarily.
It's the one that we've seen.
It's the one that we know. It's the one that was recommended to us, and
By a lot of people.
yeah, this is one that we've had. The 4 Pillars has been a request for quite some time. Not just this season, but in previous seasons as well. And it's one that we knew we wanted to get to.
Yes. And I'm glad we did. But damn it.
Yeah, I think I'm sort of right there below Paul. I keep going back to another tag team match that we have on the list, and that is the Eddie Guerrero Art Bar, El Hijo dos Santo, and Octagon.
That's a very personal.
It's a very, very good tag match, and to be honest with you, for my own personal reasons, I would probably go back to that match first.
Okay.
Underneath that, it's 29 is the triple threat at WrestleMania 32. I feel that match, while important, is not as maybe technical and that again, we're getting down into personal nitpicking. I prefer technical matches than storytelling matches. This one has both, whereas the triple threat match is more about the storytelling than the technicality. So I might put it at between somewhere between 28 and 29, which is
Okay.
which is
So
28.5.
somewhere in between 28 and 29. Okay.
So based on what you just said, it would be the new 29. It would be beneath the
Love Machine
Triple A tag, but above the.
And that is just where I
WrestleMania
personally
Triple Threat.
would put it, but I know you're going to disagree.
Well, yeah, that's what I do. I mean, that's what we do, right? That's
what I do.
What's the fun if we all agree? If I just said, yeah, whatever y'all say.
The Hall of Hunt over here.
Personally, and I don't know. This match doesn't rank as high to me. Like, I'm lower than both of you guys probably, and I think it is a personal preference to me. This does not feel. Let me clarify after I say it. So, like, don't pounce as soon as I say it. This does not feel like a tag team match. It had 24 tags. It's a tag team match. You see what I'm saying? It breaks down. It's got very AEW-esque moments in terms of,
It's a war.
I like
it's a
that.
war.
It's a war.
And there's a lot going on in the match other than this is a pro wrestling match, right?
Yes. And I guess for me, the reason why I say that it doesn't feel like a tag team match so much is that it does feel like a bunch of singles matches over and over and over again. That's why we end up with Misawa Kawada, right? And so I find myself not thinking about the teams, and I forget the tag titles on the line at all because I'm thinking about the personal one-on-one
I feel the exact
rivalries.
same way.
And I actually kind of like that because you kind of forget what they're fighting for because of the way they're fighting for
You
it.
just want them to keep fighting.
Right,
Yes.
right, which makes it a great match.
Oh, yeah.
But it loses the importance in terms of what did this do for tag team wrestling, even though we know we've described it as sort of the template.
Yeah.
Right?
And I do think some of that comes from the fact that there's commentary that we don't understand. Because I feel like if we understood what we believe is Giant Baba and the other commentator, if, you know, like, I hate to use an example, but God forbid we had Michael Cole here constantly reminding us what these men are fighting for. Or if you had Tony Schiavone, or if you had Excalibur. I'm just doing these examples.
Yeah.
If you had somebody reminding you, folks, this is for the tag titles. This is also the most personal rivalry we've ever seen
And Paul
in this
brings
company.
up a really good point is we do factor in sometimes, it's hard not to, the commentary and the entire package of what's presented
Now,
to you.
I can hear
and
the
we have
passion.
a handicap at that point. So I think one of our saving graces right here is that we're really close to the season finale of season 4, and at the end of every season, we ask our listeners to let us know where they would like to see things re-ranked if we were going to re-rank. And this is one of those matches that we could really, really use your help on.
Yeah.
So we both have
we're
where
breaking
we
a
would put
difference here.
ours. What are you thinking?
So Paul is 23, Landon's 29. I was sort of sitting at 32.
32?
Right below Trish and Lita, right above Goldberg and DDP.
Okay. Let me throw a number. What would you think about breaking even and going at number 30?
Number 30 would put it right above Tomohiro Ishii and Katsuyori Shibata, and Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky would win out over it, which is just exactly what I thought wouldn't work personally.
Right.
But if we're compromising, I think that's fair.
Okay, I'm just saying, what do you guys think? I want honest opinions. If you want to tell me shut the fuck up, it's going to go lower, or how dare you, it's going to go higher, let me have it. I'm just part of it is like I feel like if somebody doesn't say, we have to do this right now, that we're going to talk for 10 more minutes.
You're probably
do
right.
It,
You're probably
or
right.
we're going to pull another Hell in a Cell and
That's
be
what
like,
we're
what do you
doing.
guys
Just like,
think?
we're not ranking this one today.
Sorry,
Bye.
guys.
It's our job.
No, we did do that to you guys, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I feel like some of you didn't forgive us for
It's fine. It's fine. Okay. I can see why we would put this over Charlotte, Sasha, and Becky. Like, I can totally get it, and I'm willing to concede that and go to 29.
I win.
29.
I win.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a contest, but
Paul, are you okay with being 29 for
I
now?
have no problem with 29.
For all intents
29.
and purposes?
It's a good number.
Okay. So, this AJPW World Tag Team Championship match finds itself as the 29th greatest wrestling match of all time so far. We have just one match to go in Season 4. Our Season 4 finale is upon us.
Yes.
What's it going to be? You'll have to find out.
So
You'll have to
many
wait.
things to talk about, and so many things we can't talk about yet. But all will be revealed
In time.
and I think you're going to like it.
79 episodes down. Next up, episode number 80.
80.
On our quest to find the last match standing, ranking the greatest matches that have ever happened in the history of professional wrestling.
Guys, we only have 21 to go.
My
heart's
listen,
starting to ache a little bit.
yeah, listen, the world is our oyster, so to speak, right? We have so many more matches to get to, and who knows what's in our future at 100 or beyond. So let us know where you think this tag should be. Make sure you go watch it on YouTube if you haven't seen it, or if you need a refresher, please go watch it again. It's the 4 Pillars. If you aren't familiar, get familiar with the 4 Pillars, some of the best to ever do it in this business that we love so much. We have one episode left on Season 4, and I can't wait
Neither can I.
until the season finale. I'm Spencer.
I'm Paul.
I'm Landon.
And this is Last Match Standing.